not what Paimon was expecting to find in the desert, especially not hidden right next. Ooh, Paimon's scared. They must have kidnapped Cyrus. Do you think this is the guy Raka met in the tavern?
What's wrong? Thinking about your professor?
I just hope for your sake you haven't done anything you might regret.
Me too. I hope I haven't done anything to incur your wrath. Alright, you can wait here for now. I'll inform our leader that you've arrived at the Temple of Silence. Sit.
So he's just gonna leave us here unattended? Maybe we're not being kidnapped after all.
They can't have been at the oasis by chance. They were waiting for us. Whoever the leader is here, they were obviously...
So this is the Temple of Silence. After leaving the rainforest.
Hey, look! That guy's coming back.
Don't worry. Someone will come and call for you soon.
What's your name?
Sorry, guess I was so delighted to see you, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Sethos. I'll be here if you need me, but I'm not planning on answering all of your questions. Other than that...
So we're free to explore...
Yep. I mean, I'm not worried about you. Cyrus is here. And unless I've misunderstood, you're all quite anxious to see him again.
He's right. I never imagined that the true Temple of Silence would be hidden somewhere like this. We've passed through these parts before, but...
That's King Deshret's technology for you, I guess. It borders...
We should be wary of our hosts. Still, at this point, we...
Hey, Sethos! Have you got...
Sure. Although, I'm assuming by chat, you mean you have questions for me? Not often. The Temple of Silence is a place of quiet and solitude. We don't get too many visitors. Yes, that was me. Although, tricked is a stretch. He insisted that nothing was off the table, even if it broke the law. So, I told him that's...
So you framed Cyrus for a crime?
No. That's not entirely true. Of course. Raka was a great accomplice, really.
Why did Cyrus leave for the desert as soon as he...
You'll have to ask him that one yourself. Certain things I can't answer for him. All you need to know is that he recognized our emblem. And it was his own choice to take the... What kind of question is that? He's the general...
Right, but back at the oasis, you can't have known who he was for sure, or you wouldn't have...
I've lived in the desert my whole life. Guess you could say...
Ugh, why does Paimon feel like this?
Come on, we've only just met. If I give you all the answers up front, nope.
Really?
I have no need to go there. Not when the taverns are full of the Urakas of this world. Besides, we're well aware of what goes on at that place. Spies? It's not as clandestine as that. The city gates are wide open. Anyone's free to walk in. You can find... Ah, here he is. Grandfather, the person you wish to see is...
Well done, Sethos. Greetings, one and all. I am Ba Moon, the current leader of the temple.
Professor!
Cyrus, are you okay?
Ah!
Watch what you're doing!
Oh, my apologies. We have no intention of causing you distress. But you must understand, Cyrus is of great importance to us. We had to find a way to bring him back to us. Cyrus owes me his life, and to the Temple of Silence, he owes a debt of gratitude. I let him go a long time ago, but now, the time has come to demand payment.
I wanted to end my feud with this old bag of bones before you caught up with me. Just leave, Cyno. This is a matter between us two old men. You're all too young to get involved.
So that's why you didn't want to report the letter. You'd made up your mind to come here from the beginning.
Some things in life catch up with you. No matter what you do, you shouldn't have come. Let alone brought the others.
Cyno didn't make us do anything. We came here for the same reason he did. To rescue...
My secrets are secret for good reason.
You're afraid, aren't you? You can't bring yourself to speak of your past deeds to the students you nurtured as if they were your own children. You recognized our emblem because for many years you lived among us. Indeed, you knew as soon as you saw the letter that we, not Uraka, were the ones speaking to you. It threatened you only because you know what you did. For you, Cyrus, are a traitor. You once shared your learning with us, and joined us in our mission to revive the might of Hermanubis, but then you betrayed us. You bargained for your independence with your past contributions. And then you left, taking with you Hermanubis' might and the wielder of his power. We both know what I said to you that day. That as the leader, I grant you permission to leave, but that one day, the sands of time will catch up with you. And when that day comes, you must pay the price you owe.
You really know how to hold a grudge.
Hermanubis' might?
Does he mean you?
The moon is right. They rescued me from the brink of death once, many years ago in the desert. It was a great, daring plan. The moon proposed that we implant bar fragments, shards of Hermanubis, into the bodies of suitable vessels. If the experiment was successful, many believers volunteered themselves for the experiment. But we soon discovered one other child was identified as a suitable vessel, and his parents agreed to release him into our custody.
For many years, the Temple of Silence had been in possession of two The test subjects were sent into a room that had been prepared for the original plan was for a 3-stage experiment. As the second stage began, I realized but as I was deliberating, both fragments suddenly became Our 2 vessels had both displayed great promise by successfully resonating with the fragments. To preserve our faith and our power, we
Ultimately, I ended the
In recognition of your past contributions, I chose not to send someone to... I have always wanted to see you, Cyno. Losing...
I see. So that's...
Look, in essence, I borrowed your bar fragment for a decade or so. And now you are seeking justice. If you want to take my life, then so be it. I'm an old man now anyway. But you cannot lift a finger against Cyno. He is the General Muhammad.
I'm sure you don't remember anymore, dear Cyno, but you've met us all before. You and he, Sethos.
You'd like me to return?
As a follower of Hermanubis, I have allowed this power to remain in the rainforest for far too long. Now, it is time to reclaim it.
That power is not yours to reclaim. Cyno was chosen by the gods. You cannot take what they have bestowed.
You are wrong. Cyno was chosen, but he was not the only one. My child, Sethos.
So those are your terms for freeing the
Despise me all you want. My sins are my own. The Temple of Silence is an innocent party. It is because of my foolishness.
So what you're saying is, the power of one Ba fragment is not an—
Divine power causes great suffering to those who wield it. How do you know that Sethos would be able to withstand it?
He is no longer a small child. But regardless, this burden is ours to bear.
Both my heart and mind are telling me that what you—
Don't listen to him, Cyno. That power is no—
I know. But if this is a—
Sorry to interrupt, but in my view, there are— Say that Cyno refuses to return his power, and you're trying to gauge where we stand while keeping your—
Wait, those ears. So, we have a descendant of the Valuka. Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day we'll...
Why is he coughing so much? He looks...
Moon, you...
Take our leader back to his room. Grandfather, I know. I don't like to drag out conversations, so Had Cyrus not stopped the experiment all those years ago? The plan would most likely have been a success. Still, it's no use talking about I'm not like my grandfather. The Temple of Silence has a grand legacy and a sacred duty to fulfill, but I see things a little differently. I don't believe the temple has the same stature that it once did. Time has worn away at its prestige, and so I'm not going to force your hand. You're all free to leave, except for Cyrus.
You have courage in what... I truly wish that the temple would take an objective, and things will only continue to improve.
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather, I might well be open.
Tighnari made a good point earlier. He said there has to be more to your plan than this. All you and Ba Moon are after is the Ba fragment. The professor will accept whatever fate you deem fit for him out of a sense of guilt. I am the one who has a choice to make. And that's how it was always going to be. Ultimately, you want to trade the Ba fragment.
I'm glad to see you're giving it some serious consideration.
I won't forsake my professor. Nor...
That works. Oh, my grandfather still has a fair few things.
Are you sure about
I need to think this through. Everyone...
All right, well...
I've taken some time to reflect on this. He's a stubborn man who tends to double down when he feels strongly about...
I agree. My master Nephis says that...
So that's one thing. You've heard all you need to hear about the Temple of Silence. My own memories of this place are hazy, though. Probably something to do with the overpowering presence of the Ba fragments. I do remember having some fleeting moments of profound emotion when vague images would appear in my mind. But I don't recall much, only bits and pieces. I was still young then, and all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. Thinking back on it now, I suppose it was Hermanubis' way of trying to encourage me, even if we couldn't communicate. The power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith. So if the will and might of Hermanubis is a real, intangible thing, and they are its rightful worshippers, then...
You're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? Surely there has to be another way!
No. I have no intention of returning it. So I will challenge them head on, and win the right to wield this power for myself.
This reminds me of something Alhaitham mentioned to me just before we left. He said that the Temple of Silence was originally founded by the ruling elite of the day. Traditionally, such organizations are bound by a strict and ancient code of nobility. Kaveh has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own internal rules. They talk about the importance of never dishonoring their... I think we could turn that to our advantage.
Wow, and just like that we...
Looks like we have the same... Turn it back on them now while we still can.
Great. And I know just how...
I'm out of here!
Sethos, let's talk.
Have you made up your mind?
We'll get to that, but first, I have some degree of medical...
I have no objections.
Only...
Follow me. Keep your voices down.
Let's talk outside. Bamoon has fallen into a deep coma, and his prognosis is quite grave. He appears to have sustained a serious injury in his youth, which has been exacerbated. Regretfully, I must inform you that, based on what I've seen with...
Yeah.
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for the man. But you also... So tell me how we...
Yeah, there's no time to waste here. You know that better than anyone.
You know, the two of you...
Right. And you didn't create this...
You're right. I accept, Cyno. Legend has it that when Hermanubis first arrived in Tuletula, that group of supporters were...
Sounds very fitting.
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis.
3 against 3.
However, letting Cyrus leave with one of the Ba fragments...
None needed. We're on the same page. If I win, the Temple of Silence must release Cyrus. And consider this if you win.
It's a deal. Then let's meet at the...
Well, after how that...
There never was. Turning back had...
You have to win. You need this power.
Yeah, that's right. Besides, it stayed with you.
Both, yeah. When you put...
Exactly.
The Traveler and I will...
And neither. The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that for a variety of reasons. But there must be personal factors at work here too. I can't shake the feeling that Bamoon cares for many more things than he let...
Make my escape.
We gather on this day to perform once more. This is our most sacred, representing the Temple of Silence.
Grandfather, you're here.
A rite of duels after all these years. I am surprised.
I know what I'm doing, Grandfather.
Representing the academia, the challenge.
Ready. We will fight to have our voices.
Warriors, take your... We come not to debate what brings our challengers here.
Huh? Are you sure?
I agree. He's very strong. Sending him out first will definitely intimidate.
Okay, then you're second.
Sure.
We have decided.
So have we.
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
Don't forget, safety first! Hey, you there! You better play nice with them or Paimon will make you regret it!
A little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Hey!
Propagate! Scatter!
A swift end to the first bout. I now invite, when you're both ready,
Let's begin.
Watch out! He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
Can't see?
thus ends the second bout.
I'm ready.
So am I.
This is the final stage of the rite. I remind, when you're both...
I am Sethos. Vessel, for many years, we have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secrets of King Deshret. And even we earnestly sought Lord Hermanubis' wisdom and power, longing to see his spirit and his light descend up. Now, I will fight.
I am Cyno, General Mahamatra of the Academia. And you. I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel.
Everyone. Old. And my grandfather is a wise leader. He is also, but our faith has held us back for too long. Times have changed. The people of Sumeru are happier and more free now than in the past. Then I thought of you, Cyno. You and I, both each Ba fragment of Hermanubis stands for I once thought that the nature of our fragments must be what makes...
I am more than just a warrior. I am a...
Exactly.
The name Hermanubis has left its mark on both of us. So show me your answer, Cyno. Show me I can be more than my faith. More than the power... Bring it on!
That's all you've got? What happened to searching for your answer? fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Ahmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tule-Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tule-Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tynarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tule-Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tule-Tula Tynarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tule-Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
is it? Do you feel okay?
Grandfather.
Hey, Sethos. You'll get through this.
I know. I'll miss him.
I guess you were prepared for this. It's been a long time coming, huh?
Yeah, he's been on death's door for a very long time now. I think it was only through sheer willpower that he managed to hold on to this. At least, he was able to see this chapter come to.
What's next for you?
Per my grandfather's last wishes, the Temple of Silence should submit to whoever possesses the...
But that's never going to work, as I'm sure you realize. I'm the General Mahamatra. I am needed back at the Academia. I did foresee this possibility, and I gave it some thought. The fact is, Sethos, I believe the honor should go to you. Were it not for this duel, or indeed if you had other intentions, the Ba fragments would most likely be in your hands by now. I'm sure Ba-Moon never meant for anyone but you to be his successor. I do.
Still, I didn't think Ba-Moon looked very surprised by the final result. Perhaps he had an inkling that this would be the way things end.
Well, in any case, since the Ba fragments are with me now, I guess I can call the shots. Sethos, I would like you to succeed Ba-Moon as the new leader of the Temple of Silence. You are more suited to the role than I, and I have complete faith that you will be an excellent leader. Just think of it as doing me a favor.
But doesn't that render everything that we've been through up to now meaningless?
No, it doesn't. This experience has allowed us to become friends, which means that the Academia and the Temple of Silence will become partners once more. That's a much bigger deal than you might think, Sethos. You said yourself, times have changed. You have to believe that things can change for the better here at the Temple too.
I will try. To be honest, I couldn't have asked for a better outcome.
Actually, part of me wonders whether Ba-Moon's intentions from the very beginning was just to create enough pressure to force us towards a duel. That way, no matter who won, one of us would have to surrender our Ba fragment, and the power of Hermanubis would be concentrated in one single person. Had you won, the Temple of Silence would have doubled its strength. And were I to win, he correctly anticipated that I wouldn't suddenly... He knew that the Temple's future would depend not just on the guidance of... His plan meant that whoever ended up succeeding...
And here I thought the General Mahamatra wouldn't care for all these trivia. You're absolutely right. Grandfather, thank you for everything, Cyno. As a gesture of our gratitude, the Temple of Silence has a wealth of information on King Deshret's civilization, but you must be exceedingly careful with your selection of candidates. By the way, Tighnari, my grandfather, the story goes that King Deshret chose the sage Hermanubis. He went on to fight many valiant battles with the Tighnarians who left Tuletula. Joined, in all likelihood, those were your...
How fascinating. My father once mentioned that I was named after the Tighnarians.
I like this story.
By the way,
Yes, Cyrus. You'll probably find...
If it's true that you and your grandfather...
Who knows?
Someone's got to make the decisions when I will make a detailed report on all of this to Lesser Lord Kusanali. I'm sure you'll have lots to attend to in the days ahead. If we're going to work together...
I will. All right, well...
see you soon. Come hang out with us anytime.
Grandfather, from this day on, the Temple of Silence has the chance to work with the...
What were you thinking, gallivanting off into the desert alone at your age? What if—
Oh, please, will you stop your yell?
What do you mean, what other choice? Do you mean to tell me that after all your years of learning, and sagehood no less, a one-man suicide mission, That's the best idea that one of the finest minds of a generation could come up with.
All right, all right. Honestly, the way you're going...
I've got nothing more to say.
What do you mean, bag of bones? Okay, look. Fine, I admit it, I was...
1 month? Try...
Inari's master is really laying into Cyrus.
Professor
Wow, I haven't... The last time he chewed someone out like this must have been back when I was still a student.
I think I'll go around and update everyone. Tell them the situation's resolved. We can go for dinner afterwards.
Makes sense. I'm in.
Paimon's coming too!
On a mechanical frame.
You'd better start packing your things.
What about my allowance? Oh, and it...
Don't push your luck. Let's not forget who is
Hey, man's gotta eat. Help me figure out some...
I've been waiting for you.
I should have asked him to come help out at work much earlier. That would have kept him out of trouble and avoided this whole debacle.
Nevis thinks he's getting a single day of free labor from me. He's got another thing coming.
Hey, Kale.
You're back! Well, look who we have here. Would you mind explaining to me what has been going on?
All taken care of.
That does not answer my question. How could you be so careless? When you run into problems, you really ought to ask for help, you know? I've been around the block. Don't you think it would have made sense to involve me? And let's not forget, I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Now would not be a good time.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. It's not the first time that I've had to talk to you about this sort of thing either. You need to learn that there are times when the right thing to do is get a more experienced member of staff involved. Do I make myself clear? Because it...
Kale, please do something.
He's giving me the signal. All right, guess it's time to play my ace in the hole. Say, Madame Farazan, I can see you're pretty upset, but, I was just wondering, remember that time you offered to give me a tour of the academia? Does that offer still stand? Huh? Wait, did I hear that right? Kale, you remember? Wonderful. Well, of course the offer still stands. Come on, Madame Farazan will show you... Poor Kale getting dragged off like that. Also, check out Farazan acting like some sort of official academia tour guide.
Kale! Cup.
Huh? What? What do you mean, cup? You need... Oh, it's nothing. Just Master's way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out and about.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe. Tainari and I used it while we were in school, and it's become something of a family tradition now.
Oh, that's kind...
2 people left. Am I hallucinating?
We're just reorganizing all the books we use.
There's no rush. No.
My sincere thanks to you.
Yes, with your help.
I see.
And it sounds like they managed to preserve a whole lot.
That day will come. But now, as a token of my appreciation.
Sounds.
Yeah, sounds great. Although.
Sure. Let.
And then the Traveler just pounced on their opponent and knocked. Then there was Tainari. He put up an amazing fight too. We ended up winning all 3 bouts. Whoa. Part of me wishes I'd been there to see it, but I'd have been biting my nails off.
A truly edifying account of the events. Bereft of detail, but it has livened up the room all the same.
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The Traveler just pounced and then waved their sword like this, then spun around and blocked.
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of leader to him.
Of course. Being dignified comes with being a true champion.
I got to be a champion too for once. I've not sparred much with desert folk before. It was a pretty unique.
Yeah, huge place. It felt like something right out of an epic poem. Imagine this. It was like there was.
Maybe save that one for later, Paimon. Dessert's here.
I think that'll do me for today.
Shall we stop off at the House of Dana again before heading home? We should probably finish putting all those books back.
My thoughts exactly. See you around.
I should get going as well. See you all later. Make sure you get some good rest tonight.
I need to go say thanks to the Core 30 for their help. Also, Sir Nephis says he wanted to introduce me to some of the Academia's work processes.
Kali's come a long way.
Everyone's a work in progress.
Yeah, true.
That was good. It feels like everything's finally. Life is all about these moments when you can finally relax and hang out with good friends after a job.
Do you 3 have anything planned? If not, would you come somewhere with me? That's a secret for now.
Okay, I think I can guess what you're talking about.
Well, now Paimon's curious. Come.
Been a while since I last. Need any help?
It's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so.
Traveler, turn around. This is my secret base. When I was a student, I used to slip away and climb up here all the time. Back then, I had a lot of the same questions that Zethos was at. Our gifts help us to find our rightful place in the world. That was...
You two really are like brothers.
I feel the same way. Of course. I see no need to be humble when it...
I still remember one time when we came up here to chat and do our homework. Cyno accidentally dropped a fruit.
That was the one and only time. Nothing will ever
Those were good times.
You know, Paimon really shouldn't be.
Then make it stop. You guys carry...
Okay.
Huh? Hey, you're not supposed to.
Oh, my days.
Professor, what are you
Cyno. Just the man I'm looking for. Guess what?
Some old photos?
Can you believe it? This notebook was just sitting in a pile of odds and ends in the Sage's office. I was at the Academia earlier to discuss my workload with Nephis. Well, time flies. Look how tiny you are in this picture.
You look quite young yourself in that one. Ah, it's this one.
Yep. Looks like her work, all right. Who else could have found just the right...
And this one.
Oh, cheeky.
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
Like what? Like... Hey, at moments like this, I hardly know where to begin. I can't pretend I'm a good person. But Moon had every reason to despise me. Is that... Oh, I've dreamt of that place many times after leaving the desert. Oh, it was one of the happiest times. You've matured so much over the years, I know.
Since you're my professor, I should save you some face by not calling you out on all the
Good thinking. Take your own advice next time. Seriously, why bully an old man like me? Hey, wait, how did I not notice this one earlier?
Lisa strikes again. Just how many...
Look how cute you were when you were little.
Yeah, and look how serious and professional you used to be.
Oh, I can't compete with you anymore. First...
Don't say that.
Hey, what would you say?
I'd like that.
All right, I'll add it to my schedule. Wait, no. Next week is the tomato growing competition. I have got...
Or you could find a real...
I see everything.
Joke. How do I make this a joke?
Everyone?
I can't treat my students like kids anymore. I have to admit, Cyno has matured far beyond my expectations. From now on, I'll just enjoy life as a retired sage. The future is safe in the hands of the younger generation.